What's up, BlueTube? It's your boy, the Blu-ray Bandit. During my trip to Michigan, I visited 2 record shops and found some titles I don't typically see down here in Orlando, Florida. Let's see what I got. First up is the CD Exchange in Holland, Michigan. I paid $5 for 2 titles, bringing them to $2.50 each. Digging Up the Marrow from director Adam Green, director of the Hatchet series, and also a pretty great podcast called The Movie Crypt. Even if you're not into horror movies, The Movie Crypt is probably one of the best industry podcasts I can think of, because not only do they have horror directors on to talk about their films, but they also have some of the behind the curtain people on there. So they'll have like a casting director on there. They'll have a makeup artist. They'll have a production designer, and they'll interview them in the context of some of the very well-known films they've worked on. It's pretty awesome. Anyway, Digging Up the Marrow is a found footage movie. It's definitely a meta found footage movie because it's a little bit a making of a movie called Digging Up the Marrow, but the making of goes wrong. It's pretty great. It's definitely low-key found footage horror. It's also a pretty short movie, clocking in at 88 minutes. Now you'll see on the back of here, there's a used sticker price for $4.99. And I'm just going to go ahead and encourage you guys to always try to negotiate prices when it comes to used Blu-rays. Whether you're at a record shop or a pawn shop or even a thrift store, it never hurts to ask, hey, this is the price. Can I get it for this? I don't normally pay that much for a used Blu-ray. I'd say a good 80% of the time, just politely asking will get you a lower price when buying used media. Just something to keep in mind. If you haven't seen Digging Up the Marrow and you're maybe turned off by Adam Green's other more extreme films like the Hatchet series, this is more in line with his thriller Frozen. I never thought I would find this out in the wild, but I did, and I'm adding it to the collection. Here's another movie I thought I would never find out in the wild. One of my favorite movies of all time. It's The One I Love, starring Mark Duplass and Elizabeth Moss. This movie is so strange. It's a trippy movie. Elle magazine called it fantastically clever. Sure, why not? It's definitely a drama, but it's not exactly like a Groundhog Day / Edge of Tomorrow-esque movie, but it kind of is. These two are definitely the leads of the film. They're having marital problems. I'm describing it as if it's like kind of a straightforward drama. There's a sticker I'll need to remove. It's definitely a drama, but it's not straightforward at all. To say much more would probably ruin the trick of the film. Just know if you ever get the opportunity to watch it, definitely check out The One I Love. I actually already own this on Blu-ray, but I think I paid like $8 for it on eBay quite a bit back. It's worth about $4 on eBay. You add $4 shipping. It's still going to cost you $8 online. I picked it up to pass it on to somebody else because it's such a great movie. I know other people that are fans of it. And again, I just never see this title in pawn shops or thrift stores down here in Florida. So I took the chance to pick it up for $2.50. And our next store was called The Record Shop in Granville, Michigan. I can't find the receipt for this haul, but I do know I paid $2 per title, no tax, out the door. First, we've got The Birth of a Nation. Now, this is not the original W.D. Griffith Birth of a Nation. This is kind of the, retaking of the name that was released recently by director Nate Parker. This copy coming with a beautiful slipcover. I love this packaging. It even has the flapped cover. Yeah, there are a lot of slavery-related movies out there. I think some people just get tired of them over time, and I don't necessarily disagree, but The Birth of a Nation is a special movie, I would say. I was very moved by it. It's a visceral movie. It's a violent movie, so definitely be ready for that. There is a lot of torture in the movie and just... with digital code. Yeah, it's a pretty brutal movie, especially if you don't like people treating other people badly. To put it lightly. It's a really good one. I think it's generally overlooked because the director, Nate Parker, generally got canceled around the time of release. Pre-release, it was getting lots of buzz as an Oscar contender. Then that summer, leading into the end of the year, Me Too was going strong. He rightfully got in trouble for some things he did in college. And because of that, generally the movie was blacklisted. So I don't want to go too deep into the politics of should you consume art from bad people. That's just too hot a topic for this channel. What I do know is Nate Parker, for better or for worse, made a great movie in The Birth of a Nation. I don't necessarily like the guy, but I do like the movie he made. Next up, we've got Wild River. This is from the 20th Century Fox Studio Classics, a movie I've never heard of. This is definitely a blind buy for me. Looks like the original film came out in 1960. This copy is brand new and sealed. It doesn't exactly fetch a lot on eBay, roughly $4, but I paid $2 for it. I might watch it. I don't know. I might just flip it. Maybe if I list it at $6 and let it sit for a while, it'll eventually go. Haven't quite decided. Next up is Stardust, starring Claire Danes, Michelle Pfeiffer, and Robert De Niro. This was a blind buy for me. I'd certainly heard of the movie, though I have not seen it. It tends to come up on lists of top fantasy films or top guilty pleasure fantasy films. So I thought, what the heck, for $2, I'll pick it up. It runs at a nice 127 minutes. Slightly over 2 hours. If you've seen Stardust and think I should watch it sooner rather than later, let me know in the comments. For now, it's going on the shelf and maybe I'll get to it someday. Here's a movie I've seen before, once in a movie theater. It's Greta, starring Isabelle Huppert and Chloe Grace Moretz. I loved this movie, but it was generally ignored when it was released in theaters. It's a tight thriller between these two great actresses. It's definitely a movie about obsession. You know, one person becomes obsessed with the other. That person returns that obsession. And then the first person is like, wait. This is way more than I asked for. Oh, with digital code. Yeah, it's an awesome thriller with an amazing kind of final sequence to it. What's that Stephen King movie? I'm forgetting the name of it. It's the one where James Caan is a writer and he has a crazy fan that like traps him on a bed, drugs him so he can't move. I can't believe I can't remember the name of that movie. The point is, if you like that movie, you'll definitely enjoy Greta. Similar vibes for sure. Greta fetches only about $3 on eBay. I'm going to add it to my collection. Another movie that fetches about $3 on eBay, it's The Road, starring Viggo Mortensen, Cody Smith-McPhee, Robert Duvall, and Charlize Theron. I don't remember Charlize Theron in this movie. Does she play kind of the mother in flashbacks? I've only seen this once, but I did enjoy it. It's a pretty dour movie for sure. It's based on a book. The end of the world has kind of come, or some kind of nuclear holocaust. I don't remember. And you've got this father-son duo just kind of surviving on the land and avoiding other people who tend to bring more problems than it's worth. The Road is directed by John Hillcoat, who also directed a movie called The Proposition, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. Definitely a top 100 movie for me. You might have also seen 999 on Netflix, another movie he directed. 999, not near as good as The Proposition, but that's probably his most well-known movie. This Blu-ray has a little bit of sticker residue right here on the front. I'll have to remove that, but the disc looks good. You can tell this is an older Blu-ray by the double-sided printing. It's a quality case for a quality movie that I'm adding to the collection. And finally, for this Michigan set haul, we've got The Kings of Summer, easily the biggest score of the haul. For some reason, The Kings of Summer on eBay sells for around $20. It also happens to be a movie that I enjoy and want to keep, but I could easily sell this and pay for all the other titles I want to keep out of this haul. So do I like it that much? I don't know. The Kings of Summer is a coming-of-age movie. It's a great, fun drama if you like coming-of-age movies. If you like movies like Stand By Me or The Spectacular Now, which I believe came out the same year, you should definitely check out Kings of Summer. For me, I'm tempted to throw this on my shelf just for my personal collection. I'm equally as tempted to sell this title. Is it worth $20 to me on my shelf, or $20 to me to pay for more titles that I'd rather keep? That's the collector's dilemma. There we go. 8 titles at a cost of $17 even. That gives us a per title average of $2.12 each and an estimated value of $49. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment for the YouTube algorithm. Doing any of those things really helps me out. I met a dog the other day. It taught me how to die. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Until then, goodbye.